In the hushed whispers of ancient lore, unfolds the gentle tale of Cerberus, guardian of the Underworld. Tonight, we venture into the heart of mythology to meet Cerberus, the three-headed sentinel born from the depths of primordial forces. As you settle in, let your mind wander through the mystical threads of duty and devotion that bind this remarkable creature to the realm of Hades. Feel the cares of the day wash away as we journey through timeless legends. Breathe deeply, relax, and let the tale unfold. In the time before mortal eyes could witness the world known today, a vast and primordial expanse existed. It was an era woven from cosmic forces, where myth and reality blurred into a single fabric. Among these vast woven threads of existence dwelt the mighty and the mysterious, beings whose very essence formed the stories passed down through generations. Within this timeless realm, two ancient figures stood as embodiments of raw power: Echidna and Typhon, each a force of nature in their own right. Echidna, known as the mother of monsters, possessed a formidable presence. She was a creature both of beauty and terror, half maiden, half snake, her form neither fully immortal nor bound to a single shape. She held within her the untamed primal nature from which the world itself was born. Her gaze was deep and knowing, the kind that hinted at secrets older than time and created a legacy of boundless possibilities. She dwelled near the edges of chaos, where the air shimmered with mysteries untold, a fitting place for one who would bear the mythic creatures that would come to walk both hallowed rounds, shadowed domains. Her counterpart Typhon was a being of unrelenting might and fearsome nature. Known as the father of all monsters, he was a titan beyond comprehension with a magnitude that eclipsed mortal understanding. His form was a conglomerate of ferocious aspects, a towering figure with 100 dragon heads that spilled fire and storm, each as formidable as the last. His presence was a storm in physical form. His furor echoed in the whispered tales of ancient winds. He resided in the dark recesses of the earth, where the very earth trembled at his will, creating a domain of foreboding strength and dread. From the union of Echidna and Typhon, amidst the swirling energies of the primordial world, emerged Cerberus. He was born under the veils of concealed darkness and thriving power, a creature destined for a role that would sculpt the boundaries between life and eternity. From the moment of his birth, Cerberus was a figure of awe, a majestic being with not one, but 3 magnificent heads, each a symbol of vigilance and guardian might. Each head lent a different gaze, surveying the world around with unyielding loyalty and purpose, embodying the balance between the diverse aspects of his nature. As he stood before the very gates between worlds, Cerberus's role was made clear. It was an assignment of paramount importance, entrusted to him by forces that predated the dawn itself. His duty was to guard the threshold of the Underworld, the domain ruled by Hades, god of the dead. Here, he would ensure that the spirits of those who had departed from the living world would not venture back, marking the boundaries of existence with his tireless watch. The purpose bestowed upon Cerberus was one of profound significance. It reflected a cosmic balance, a guard not just preventing escape from the Underworld, but preserving the order etched into the fabric of myth and destiny. His presence at the gates was more than physical. It was a testament to the harmony between realms and the solemn honor of his heritage. The Underworld, a place of eternal stillness and repose, found in Cerberus a guardian whose loyalty was as eternal as the night that enveloped the realm. Loyalty and duty radiated from his bearing, apparent in the steadfast manner with which he held his position. His eyes, though fearsome by aspect, spoke of vigilance unmatched, a readiness to fulfill the destiny carved by his lineage. Cerberus knew no respite, only the peace found in his role, and the silent whispers of loyalty bound him to his post. Near the gates of the Underworld, amidst swirling mists that seemed to weave tales of their own, Cerberus began his eternal vigil. The swirling mists parted as he took his place, a companion to the shadows and the night. This was Cerberus's world, a world beyond the mortal ken, and here he found his home. In this hallowed spot, he embodied the intersection of myth and truth, a living testament to the timeless dance of duty across the ages. And so, within the serene expanse of the underworld, as twilight settled into its rightful place overshadowing time, Cerberus's eternal presence began, symbolizing a bridge between the past and the purpose that would define him forevermore. In the realm where shadows held dominion, the underworld was a place of quiet whispers and ancient echoes. Here, the souls of the departed made their journey, moving past realms of memory and silence. At the heart of this shadowed land stood the imposing gates, a formidable barrier between the world of the living and the abode of the deceased. These gates were not merely a physical boundary. They resonated with metaphysical significance, marking the threshold where life surrendered to death and mortality transformed into eternity. It was here, at this crucial juncture, that Cerberus, the majestic three-headed guardian, took his vigilant post. Cerberus's presence at the gates was a testament to his duty, a constant watchfulness that ensured the sanctity of Hades's domain. The soft rustle of spectral passages served as a gentle accompaniment to his unblinking vigilance. Each spirit that approached the threshold experienced the solemn grace with which Cerberus carried out his charge, his three heads observing from every angle, ensuring that none who crossed the threshold would ever dream of returning to where the sunlight shone. In the underworld's muted ambience, his role was absolute, preserving the natural balance, preventing the transgression of souls back into the world of the living. The landscape of the underworld lay still, its features carved from ages past, a labyrinth of gray and shadow. The spirits moved with a tentative grace, guided and observed by the unwavering gaze of Cerberus. His interactions with these spectral travelers weren't marked by hostility, but rather by an emphatic reminder of the boundary they had crossed. Cerberus's gentle yet firm demeanor ensured the spirits felt the weight of their journey, a poignant reminder of their irrevocable path. Soon enough, Hades himself emerged from the misty depths, a shadow among shadows, to inspect his cherished guardian's duty. His presence, reserved and profound, signaled both approval and an unspoken trust in Cerberus's capability. The bond between them was forged from the trust that came with decades of shared commitment to the underworld's delicate balance. Hades approached with an air of quiet power, his gaze settling on Cerberus, who, in return, offered a silent nod of allegiance through an innate understanding, his loyalty unwavering, a symbol of the order they both preserved. Together, they surveyed the gates, the barrier that was both physical and spiritual, separating worlds set apart by destiny and design. Here, existence was penitent and timeless. While the living world above faced the constant flux of sunrises and sunsets, the underworld thrived on eternal night and eternal peace. The gates represented the final cessation of life's journey, imposing yet welcoming in their stillness. Cerberus, steadfast at his post, exemplified the tranquility that the underworld promised, a realm without turmoil where spirits could finally rest. As the eternal dusk descended, the serenity woven into every corner of the underworld reflected the calm vigilance of Cerberus. The quiet was profound, uninterrupted, a silent testament to the balance maintained by the guardian of the gates. His vigil was not just a physical act, but a deeper affirmation of harmony within the realms of existence. Time felt dissolved, slipping away into the annals of myth, as Cerberus continued his watch, a silent, resilient presence amidst the ever-flowing current of spectral travelers. In this eternal moment, where the bounds of the living and the departed meshed seamlessly, Cerberus stood as a sentinel of quiet power and eternal dedication. The souls moved past, acknowledging his guardianship, a gentle gesture of admiration for the keeper of the underworld's threshold. With each passing spirit, the watch continued, a rhythm of lives entering the afterlife, guided by the steadfast loyalty of the guardian at the gates. As the night deepened, Cerberus remained, a pillar of constancy and protection, ensuring the quietude of Hades' realm. Night had gently enveloped the realm of the underworld, where the ever-present quiet seemed to breathe life into the stillness. At the edge of this timeless expanse stood Cerberus, a majestic sentinel beside the towering gates. His presence, vigilant and serene, mirrored the steady flow of souls inching towards the vast unknown. It was here that Hades, the ruler of this shadowy domain, would often visit, his presence a silent confirmation of the balance maintained. Hades' visits to the threshold were a routine as old as the underworld itself. Each time he emerged from the mists, cloaked in shadows that seemed to dance with the flicker of an unseen light. His reserved nature was palpable as he moved with an air of authority born from millennia of stewardship. The spirits recognized him, stepping aside with silent reverence, their ephemeral forms parted effortlessly before his path. Cerberus, the steadfast guardian, would greet Hades with a quiet acknowledgement that spoke of deep respect. Each of Cerberus's 3 heads would turn in unison, following Hades' every motion with an unwavering gaze that embodied loyalty. There was no need for elaborate displays. A solemn nod from Hades was enough to affirm the bond shared between ruler and guardian, an understanding reached by heart rather than words. In these moments, Hades would pause, acknowledging the loyalty that emanated from Cerberus. He stood, observing his loyal companion whose fidelity was manifested in every guarded step and vigilant watch. It was an unspoken alliance, the just ruler and the vigilant guardian, each fulfilling an essential role in maintaining the sacred cycle of the afterlife. Hades, despite his reserved demeanor, held a profound comprehension of justice within his domain. It was his duty to ensure that each soul arriving at the gates of the underworld was accorded its rightful place. His judgment was both clear and unwavering, reflecting not only his power but also a deep-seated sense of balance. His decisions echoed throughout the underworld, a guide for countless spirits journeying beyond mortal confines. Together, Hades and Cerberus would observe the flow of spirits lining up at the gates, a silent tableau of life's transience. These souls, each carrying stories unknown to the living, passed by in a tranquil procession, finding solace in the shadowed realm where Hades ruled. Though moments such as these were numerous, each remained sacred, imbued with the gravity of unbroken cycles. The silent companionship between Hades and Cerberus spoke volumes, a testament to the shared understanding existing beyond the limitations of language. Between the two was an intimate conversation of silence, where shared glances conveyed a multitude of nuances, each acknowledging the gravity of their eternal duties. The absence of spoken words was filled with the depth of ancient companionship, where purpose transcended the need for speech. In the quiet, the shadows of Hades extended, interweaving with the tranquility of the underworld. His presence was both origin and harmony, a shadowy anchor for the grave peace engulfing the realm. This weaving of shadows and stillness forged an atmosphere that defined the underworld, a place where duty and destiny conjoined, overseen by beings of immortal dedication. As the night deepened within the realm, the constancy of Cerberus's vigil persisted. Beside him stood Hades, a guardian of justice and harmony, whose rare yet significant visits to the threshold ensured the balance of domains unseen by mortal eyes. Their joint stewardship of this shadowed cycle was a quiet accord between power and duty, etched into the fabric of the underworld itself. Together, they preserved the order of realms, where life flowed into eternity under the gentle watch of shadows and stillness. In the eternal stillness of the underworld, a new presence emerged near the shadowed gates. Hercules, the renowned hero of the mortal realm. Known for his unwavering strength and unyielding resolve, he approached the domain of Hades with a purpose that resonated across myths and legends. His task was formidable, a labor that required him to enter this solemn realm where the quiet vigil of Cerberus, the three-headed sentinel, stood uninterrupted by the passage of time. Hercules paused at the threshold, preparing mentally and physically for the challenge that lay ahead. His journey had been long, filled with trials that tested the very core of his courage and tenacity. Here, at the brink of the world's boundary between life and death, he stood reflective, gathering his strength for the trial ahead. The night was clear, as if the skies themselves understood this impending encounter, offering a moment of clarity among the celestial constellations that watched over the hero. Cerberus, ever vigilant, took notice of the hero through the gaze of his three heads, each keenly attuned to the movement before them. There was a familiarity in the air, a recognition of the mortal who had often brushed against the divine in his remarkable exploits. As their eyes met for the first time across the hallowed ground, a silent understanding passed between guardian and intruder. Both were bound by duty, Hercules by his labors, Cerberus by his eternal watch. This shared understanding acknowledged the burdens each carried. The confrontation began with Hercules stepping forward, his every movement marked by careful determination. Cerberus's stance was firm and unmoving, a wall of majestic power as he maintained his sacred duty. Hercules approached with the respect befitting one aware of crossing into a domain not of his world. The air between them crackled with the weight of history and myth, yet there was no malice, only the mutual acknowledgement of roles destined to intersect in this mythic tableau. With calculated intention, Hercules made his initial attempt to subdue Cerberus, drawing on the immense strength and heroism that had guided him through countless trials before. He moved with the grace of one attuned to conflict, understanding that brute force alone could not conquer an adversary rooted deeply in the primal forces of the universe. As Hercules extended his hands in an attempt to grasp Cerberus, the Guardian's response was swift yet measured, a testament to the respect granted by Cerberus to such bravery and persistence. This was more than a battle of strength. It was a testament to the enduring balance between heaven and earth, mortal and divine. Each head of Cerberus watched in concert, their gaze a layered narrative of vigilance and acknowledgement for the hero's honor. In those moments, as Hercules showed resilience and respect toward the mighty guardian, Cerberus recognized the hero's bravery, not as a threat, but as a tribute to the resolve imbued in the heart of mortals. It was a confrontation that bore no victor, only a profound recognition of the shared struggle and dignity found in purpose. Thus, the night, embracing the fiery reds and bold ambers of timeless tales, bore silent witness to their encounter, echoing the challenge onward. Here at the gateway to eternity, a bond was carved from understanding and respect, setting the stage for Hercules' appeal to the ruler of this realm. As the moment waned, it left behind a resonance, a whisper of fate that carried each step forward. With the trial initiated yet unresolved, the time had come to move towards a different negotiation. A journey deeper into the underworld awaited, where understanding between Hercules and Hades would unfold. For now, the air around them quieted, and the gates stood impervious against time's embrace, as Cerberus resumed his watch, eternal and unyielding, as the twilight's soft glow painted the entrance of the underworld in hues of dark orange and cool amber. Hercules stood ready to face Hades himself. His mission was ambitious and perilous, to retrieve the living Cerberus from the world of the dead. A feat only a hero marked by divine bravery could consider. The underworld, with its silent mists and eternal stillness, seemed to hold its breath as Hercules approached the shadowy figure emerging from the depths. Hades, ruler of these dark realms, appeared with a presence that was serene yet commanding. Unlike the gods above, embroiled in the affairs of mortals, Hades exuded a calm authority that affirmed his dominion over the afterlife. As Hercules drew nearer, he presented his request to enter the Underworld, a part of his celebrated labors assigned by King Eurystheus. The task was as much a test of Hercules' mettle as it was of divine wisdom guiding him. Hades listened, his expression impassive yet thoughtful. Hercules spoke of his labors, the trials imposed upon him, and his need to retrieve Cerberus as a testament to the strength granted by his celestial heritage. Among all his tasks, this labor required more than physical strength. It called for negotiation and the courage to face what lay beyond mortal life. As he spoke, the sovereign of the Underworld weighed his words, the laws that governed his realm ever present in his mind. In the stillness, Cerberus stood silently by, a silent guardian with his 3 heads observing the proceedings. Although a fearsome defender of the gates, his role in this dialogue was one of silent witness, embodying the balance and loyalty inherent to his being. Each head moved slightly, as if to comprehend the gravity of the negotiation unraveling before him. Deliberation settled like a gentle weight over the scene. Hades, mindful of the cosmic balance and the sanctity of his domain, pondered the implications of this request. Allowing a living soul to traverse his kingdom was an exception rarely made, but Hercules' intentions stemmed from a place of need rather than hubris. The realm thrummed with an unspoken understanding of justice and duty shared between the 2 figures. In a voice that resonated with the authority of ages, Hades granted Hercules permission to pass, but not without setting conditions, a must for keeping the equilibrium intact. Hercules listened attentively as the stipulations were laid out. He was to return Cerberus unharmed, preserving the natural order of both the realm of the living and the dead. This trial, though arduous, was not meant to disrupt the sacred flow of life and death. Hercules, his brow knit in concentration, accepted the conditions with a solemn nod. Each labor had taught him the value of promises and the respect due to the natural order personified by the gods. His agreement was not simply a formality. It underscored a pledge to uphold the integrity of the mission without tipping the celestial scales that governed existence. The agreement, reached in this tranquil corner of the Underworld, was a testament to the power of discourse over might. Hercules' promise was sealed with the resolve that had seen him through previous challenges. As the quiet mist swirled at their feet, marking the moment, a silent understanding formed, far beyond words. The legacy of this encounter would echo in myths, not for its grandeur, but for its demonstration of respect and wisdom. With his passage granted, Hercules prepared to journey into the depths of the Underworld. This next stage of his quest, while daunting, was now lined with a light of possibility thanks to the deft diplomacy he had shown. The scenes before him unfolded in a vision where divine prerogative met mortal endeavor, a bridge connecting realms that rarely touched. Cerberus, ever vigilant, resumed his watchful stance, his eyes following Hercules as he stepped forward towards his daunting objective. Though a guardian, Cerberus also represented the quiet strength and permanence of his duty, a parallel to the unyielding resolve Hercules would need to succeed in his labor. As the ambience returned to its familiar stillness, a testament to the unchanging nature of this secretive world, the figures each moved forward in their respective roles, ready to engage in the next act of this timeless tale. With the terms agreed upon, Hercules set forth into the deeper realms of the Underworld, his heart steady with the weight of his task. The path ahead was shrouded in the ethereal shadows characteristic of Hades' dominion, where time was an endless night. As he ventured forth, the air seemed to whisper with the voices of ages past, and Hercules was ever aware of Cerberus, who trailed watchfully at a respectful distance. This silent escort acted as both a guide and a sentinel, ensuring the hero's adherence to the divine pact he had made. Throughout his passage, Hercules encountered the subtle forms of spirits and shades who roamed these netherworlds. These were the remnants of lives long bygone, stories etched in the fabric of mortality, each shade carrying the faint silhouette of its former self. They surged around him like dimly lit echoes, reminders of the endless cycle of life and death. Hercules moved amongst them with a solemn respect, recognizing the invisible boundaries he must not cross. Cerberus, ever vigilant, padded quietly behind, ensuring none of the ghostly denizens strayed beyond their rightful domain. As Hercules traversed these shadowed expanses, he marveled at the vastness and silence that enveloped him. The underworld opened into great vistas, seemingly endless voids where the very air brimmed with solemnity. Here the ground was firm but otherworldly, dotted with ancient stones and whispering winds. Not one to be easily daunted, Hercules pressed forward with determination, the allure of unseen dangers kept at bay by Cerberus's watchful presence. The hero advanced with both caution and resolve, steering clear of the invisible pitfalls and regions whispered of in legend, where souls could lose their way and fall into oblivion. Hercules understood that this land of shadows, for all its tranquility, held undercurrents of past ferocity, a silent testament to its deep history. He avoided entanglements with these treacherous regions, for his focus was sharply fixed on the tasks that lay ahead, his journey a reflection of balance between the realms of the living and the dead. Deep within these hushed corridors, Hercules pondered the profound harmony between the worlds of the mortal and the divine. As an interloper from the living world, he felt the gravity of his presence here. The reflected strength of both worlds pulsed through his veins, a testament to the delicate equilibrium he endeavored to respect. Amidst the shadows, Hercules' thoughts were a dialogue with the silence, a contemplation of the eternal dance that bound the worlds together. In these silent passages of thought, Hercules encountered figures of ancient legend, now distant memories in the mortal realm. Here stood heroes and demigods reduced to ethereal frames, their eyes holding the collective wisdom of ages. Without words, these spirits communicated their truths, a quiet testament to their enduring stories woven into the tapestry of this underworld. Hercules listened to the quiet resonance of their tales, absorbing the timeless truths they imparted. Cerberus remained close, a protective companion through these stirring encounters. His three heads monitored the surroundings with undivided attention, ready to enforce the sacred boundaries should any unwelcome threat materialize. Though Hercules walked amidst entities from long-lost eras, he was not alone in his journey. The ever-present Cerberus ensured that Hercules' exploration remained a safe endeavor, embodying the steadfast guardianship of the underworld's gatekeeper. As Hercules continued deeper into the heart of shadows, he experienced the weight of his labor not merely as a physical trial, but as a journey of profound understanding. No longer seen simply as a series of Herculean tasks, each trial became a vital strand of the intricate web binding life and death. In the presence of Cerberus, with each step through the shadowy depths of the underworld, Hercules came closer to the ultimate confrontation, prepared not just as a hero of strength but as a seeker of balance. With Cerberus faithfully trailing behind, the essence of a pivotal moment began to unfurl within the vast recesses of this enigmatic realm. As dawn approached in the timeless domain of the underworld, Hercules found himself nearing the heart of the great and shadowed realm. The mighty hero paused for a moment, his eyes adjusting to the firelit hues that danced across the cavernous stones. Cerberus, the three-headed guardian, stood poised and watchful, a sentinel sculpted from loyalty itself. Hercules knew the importance of the trial that lay ahead, aware that his journey had led him to this pivotal encounter, where strength, both physical and of purpose, would be measured. Cerberus, firmly stationed as ever at this threshold, sensed the resolve in the air. Each of his three heads held a different view of the world, a singular unity in their unyielding watch over Hades' realm. As Hercules approached, the ground marked by history and myth, Cerberus's stance grew more certain and formidable. The challenge that was foretold, the meeting of mortal and guardian, was now upon them, a convergence of duty that history would echo. In this profound silence, a confrontation took its rightful form. Hercules, honoring the solemn stakes of his labor, prepared himself with a quiet reflection. His past trials had sculpted him into more than a mere hero. They had instilled in him a reverence for the forces that watched over the place of the dead. The underworld remained still, acknowledging the gravity of Hercules' pursuit and the unwavering presence of Cerberus. Hercules, with a deliberate calm, began his respectful preparation for the trial. In this sacred space, he had little need for grand gestures. His quiet determination was his mightiest weapon, one that Cerberus recognized without need of further display. Both creatures of mythology, they represented the essence of their roles, one seeking passage, the other safeguarding boundaries, a dance as ancient as the echoes within these chambers. Displays of strength were not merely physical. Hercules, guided by wisdom beyond his years, showed the strength of respect, a deep understanding that wove through his actions. Cerberus, a symbol of loyalty to his master Hades, displayed his strength through his dutiful vigil, neither intimidating nor yielding without cause. In this dance of duty, neither sought to overpower, but rather to align their purposes, a balance seldom achieved through mere assertion. As the hero stood before Cerberus, each facet of his soul laid bare, the guardian of the underworld sensed the purity of his determination. Each of Cerberus's heads regarded Hercules with an equal gaze, an acknowledgement of the mortal's valor. It was a rare tribute paid by the guardian to any who ventured this far, a silent recognition of an undertaking noble in its conception. Through this mutual recognition, an understanding began to form. Hercules' strength was not in defiance, but in harmonious acknowledgement of what Cerberus epitomized. The keeper of the gates bowed to none, yet here was an exception, a moment where the integrity of both beings guided their purposes to align. This meeting of hero and beast served as a manifestation of respect and unwavering fidelity to their respective paths. Thus, it was in this moment of quiet revelation that peace descended. Both Hercules and Cerberus recognized the necessity of their trial, not as opposing forces, but as parts of a greater whole, contributing to the balance of the worlds they each served. In the heart of the underworld, where shadows loomed and myths were woven, the trial took its form not within the sound of clashing might, but within the echoes of understanding and shared purpose. This phase of Hercules' journey, marked by the absence of unyielding conflict, set the stage for what was to come. As he prepared to fulfill the terms agreed upon with Hades, Hercules knew that this encounter had expanded his perception of duty and courage. The exchange with Cerberus had taught him that true strength operated from a profound place of mutual respect, a lesson where many tales could find their origins. With the trial adequately recognized, the underworld remained steadfast in its tranquil watch. Cerberus, with his fidelity affirmed, maintained his post, an eternal guardian amidst the shifting sands of myth and time. Hercules, now with a deeper understanding and strengthened resolve, prepared to continue his journey, a journey woven into the mythic tapestry of his labors. As Hercules approached the daunting challenge ahead, a sense of calm washed over him. This was the crux of his labor, the taming of Cerberus, the formidable guardian of the underworld. With steady determination, Hercules advanced towards the three-headed Sentinel. In this moment, strength met loyalty, and purpose intertwined with duty. He understood the gravity of his task, knowing it was not simply a test of might, but a testament to the respect he bore for the world he was about to step into. Cerberus, the mythical protector bred from primal forces, sensed the intentions of this mortal hero. Each of his 3 heads observed Hercules with vigilant intensity. Yet there was no raw hostility, only the inherent duty to guard the path between realms. It was this understanding, the shared recognition of purpose, that fostered a brief yielding within the Guardian. The mighty Cerberus, aware of Hercules' determination, allowed a momentary lead away from his eternal post at the gates. This act was not of submission, but mutual recognition. Hercules, knowing the delicacy of Hades' conditions, handled Cerberus with care and respect. Slowly, with gentle resolve, he guided the powerful beast. This brief shift in guarded duty was imbued with an understanding of the balance between realms, a respectful dance that allowed Hercules to lead Cerberus from the gates without true confrontation or disruption. Observing from afar, hidden within shadows, Hades watched silently. The ruler of the Underworld had witnessed such interactions only in tales and songs. Hercules' careful approach, culminating in this respectful handling, was a vivid display of mortal bravery coupled with divine acceptance. Hades acknowledged this unique moment. Though his gaze remained shadowed and reserved, an unspoken nod affirmed the success of Hercules in fulfilling his task within the constraints set forth by the divine laws. The interaction was brief, but filled with significance. Hercules, fulfilling the dictates of his trial, adhered precisely to the terms established by Hades. As swiftly as it began, the interaction concluded, with Hercules honoring the conditions and ensuring the sanctity of the Underworld's balance was maintained. Cerberus, exhibiting an ancient understanding affinity by this encounter, returned to his station by the twilight-stained gates. His duty lay as unending as the cycle of night and day. In the renewed silence following Hercules' passage, Cerberus resumed his vigilant watch. The familiar weight of duty settled upon his 3 heads, each now carrying a deeper sense of purpose instilled by the recent events. There was new strength in fulfilling his role as the Guardian, a tranquility heightened by the unique interlude with Hercules. With each spirit passing by, Cerberus reflected on the brief deviation in his eternal watch, pondering the lasting impact Hercules' challenge had imprinted on his existence. Cerberus stood steady, contemplating the intricate layers of his duty, a keeper not merely of souls, but of profound cosmic balance. The ancient Guardian understood that while the worlds above and below might clash, it was his presence that ensured their separation endured. Reflections swirled within his mind like swirling mists, coalescing into one overriding truth. His role encompassed more than simple loyalty to Hades. It was a mission transcending mortal and divine, a constant vigil preserving the boundary between 2 realms. As the Underworld settled back into its tranquil cadence, Cerberus' stance radiated newfound strength. His majestic form, silhouetted against the gentle amber of twilight, conveyed calm resoluteness. The trial had concluded, yet its echoes lingered, reinforcing the eternal serenity surrounding the gates he protected. The atmosphere, marked by an accomplished quietude, unfolded into peaceful reflection, softly rooting the Guardian once more in timeless duty. Cerberus' quiet contemplation heralded the continuation of his watch over the realm of shadows. His reawakening to duty filled the space between worlds with a renewed sense of silent balance. Each pause and passing spirit seemed to reaffirm an eternal truth. The Guardian would stand unyielding, sworn to his task, a silent sentinel against the flux of time, steward of the peace woven through the fabric of the Underworld. On the horizon of his consciousness, the notion of eternal duty waited patiently to manifest as daylight on the mortal plane. Endowed with renewed insight from his encounter with Hercules, Cerberus awaited the return of the cycle. The overlap of mortal courage and divine mandate had played its role and faded into the mythic night. As a new chapter unfolded, Cerberus resumed his place within history, ever watchful, endlessly quiet, maintaining the harmony between worlds, one moment after another. With a serene sense of accomplishment flowing through him, Cerberus returned to his appointed place at the gates of the Underworld. The encounter with Hercules had injected a deeper understanding of his role into his mighty hearts. His presence, steadfast and unmoving, became a quiet symbol of balance as he watched the continuous flow of spirits crossing the threshold into the realm of Hades. Each soul moved in a silent procession, a river of ethereal shades, returning to the peace of the afterlife, while others ventured further into the depths of the underworld. Cerberus surveyed them with calm scrutiny, each of his 3 heads contributing to his vigilant oversight. As the spirits passed by, Cerberus felt the sweet return of order, a familiar dance of life and death that never ceased. The gate was not merely a boundary of stone and shadow. It was the delicate balance between realms maintained by his eternal vigil. This cycle, unending and immutable, had been briefly disturbed but never broken. With Hercules' task completed, the guardian beast watched the renewed ebb and flow with a newfound gaze, each spirit a fleeting echo of the past returning to its place. Soon, Hades himself appeared for his regular inspection of the underworld. His presence was a shadowed whisper, a silent testament to the domain he ruled with such a careful hand. Hades, the reserved overseer of the dead, offered nothing beyond a nod, his approval unspoken but unmistakable. Cerberus, understanding his master's ways, received this silent recognition in a manner befitting his nature. It was an acknowledgement not just of his duty fulfilled, but of the trust inherent in his legacy. Cerberus's mind drifted then to thoughts of his origins, reflecting on the formidable lineage that shaped him. Born from Echidna and Typhon, creatures of immense power and mysterious origin, Cerberus carried within him the essence of primordial forces. His very form, with its 3 vigilant heads, was a testament to the strength and responsibility bestowed upon him. To guard the underworld's gates was not merely a task. It was a legacy, a perpetual inheritance that defined his existence. The bond of duty was woven into the fibers of his being, linking him to epochs long past. In this duty, Cerberus found purpose, a realization blossomed from understanding. He recognized the profound role he played, not just as a gatekeeper, but as a stalwart preserver of balance. The underworld, often viewed as shadowed and solemn, held an eternal peace within its bounds, where the departed found refuge. Cerberus's presence ensured that this sanctuary remained undisturbed, a tranquil haven separate from mortal concerns. This understanding solidified Cerberus's dedication to his role, transcending the corporeal and anchoring into the metaphysical. The underworld was a realm requiring guardianship beyond the temporal, a realm existing in timeless stasis. Within this perpetuity, Cerberus stood as a sentinel against disorder, his resolve unwavering. He knew that his duty stretched beyond ancient myths and into the very fabric of existence, requiring vigilance that spanned the ages. In these reflections, as twilight settled with muted colors of deep red and warm oranges, Cerberus felt the profound calm of a life purposefully lived. His watch was one of eternal peace, each moment a measure of harmony maintained. He was the bridge between worlds, ensuring that the cycle of life and death continued unobstructed, an essential player in the grand order of the cosmos. Cerberus's silhouette blended with the eternal architecture of the underworld's gates, a living monument to loyalty and vigilance. The myth of his guardianship would continue to echo through time, a testament to the quiet strength he embodied. As the ebb and flow of spirits continued unabated, Cerberus maintained his post, reassured by the knowledge that his place was vital, standing firm at the gates of eternity. In the vast silence of the underworld, Cerberus stood vigil at the gates, his 3 heads attuned to the quiet ebb and flow of the realm's eternal procession. Hades' visits had become more frequent since the arrival of Hercules, each encounter a wordless communication underscored by mutual respect and understanding. Hades, the reserved ruler of this shadowy domain, appreciated the stability that Cerberus brought. It was a bond formed not through words, but through the shared purpose of keeping the underworld balanced and at peace. During these visits, the silent communication between Hades and Cerberus conveyed more than any conversation could. As Hades stood beside his loyal guardian, a simple nod or a mere glance spoke volumes. Cerberus, majestic and vigilant, understood the weight of his duty. Each visit reminded him of the trust placed upon his shoulders and the critical role he played in preserving this delicate equilibrium. The two figures, one divine and the other primordial, shared a deep understanding, each recognizing the Utter's significance to the harmony of the underworld. Hades often reflected on the serenity that Cerberus's presence ensured. With his unwavering loyalty, Cerberus was not just a guardian but a cornerstone of the stability within this empire of shadows. The underworld's inhabitants moved smoothly, knowing they were protected by the three-headed guardian who allowed neither chaos nor confusion to breach the gates. Hades saw clearly how this stability mirrored his own rule, just, calm, and eternally balanced. The bond of trust between Hades and Cerberus was built on years of coexistence and shared duty. This trust was a silent contract, with Hades overseeing the greater workings of the underworld while Cerberus guarded its threshold. Their relationship was one of deep respect, each understanding the importance of the other's role in the cosmic balance. This mutual admiration was evident in the respectful silence they shared, an acknowledgement that transcended mere words. As the two observed the spirits passing in and out of the underworld, Cerberus recognized the delicate balance he helped maintain. With each soul that entered, there was a peace that only the presence of an unwavering sentinel could ensure. Cerberus knew his vigilance was vital, ensuring that those who belonged to this realm remained, while preventing disturbances from the world of the living. This was his purpose, handed down from his formidable lineage and anchored by the trust of a god. Their reflections often delved into past events, yet these discussions unfolded quietly, without spoken narratives. Memories of trials, such as the recent Herculean encounter, drifted in their shared silence. Hades understood the tasks Cerberus faced, appreciating his dedication to his duty. Meanwhile, Cerberus found solace in the acknowledgement that his efforts were seen and valued by the ruler of this shadowy empire. Together, they recognized the crucial roles each played in the underworld's harmony. Hades, with his deft hand and shadowy oversight, and Cerberus, ever watchful at the boundary, formed a pair that ensured the continuity of this sacred domain. Their shared presence symbolized the ongoing cycle of balance that the underworld required, a dance between the past and present that maintained order in the depths of myth and memory. Eventually, Hades would take his leave, but his departures always left a lingering sense of continuity. The underworld was timeless, and its harmony relied on such steadfastness. Cerberus remained, steadfast at his post, feeling the echo of Hades' presence even in his absence. Their bond endured, a testament to the enduring relationship between the divine and the guardians who served them. With Hades' departure, Cerberus continued his watch. He stood as a silent sentinel, his presence a pillar of strength in the mythic tapestry of the underworld. The night stretched on, yet for Cerberus, this was just another moment in the endless flow of time, reinforcing his eternal duty as the guardian of the gate, as crucial as the spirits passing before him. In the timeless silence of the underworld, tales began to weave their way through the ethereal mists, whispered gently by passing spirits. Cerberus, the mighty three-headed guardian of the gates, stood as a timeless sentinel, the subject of stories that grew ever vibrant among those who drifted between the worlds. His form, majestic and steadfast, had become more than just a guardian to them. He was a symbol intrinsic to their own journey. Slowly, the whispers carried these stories into myths that flowed through the delicate fabric of the underworld. Through countless ages, the spirits acknowledged the pivotal role Cerberus played at the threshold of shadows and eternity. As they crossed the gates, the souls found solace in the presence of Cerberus, revering him for the unwavering duty he performed. His role was not only to guard against any escape of restless shades, but also to stand as a reassuring figure for those entering the world of silence. The gentle brushing of spiritual waves against his paws marked the story of a guardian who honored his charge, ensuring the boundaries between realms remained unbroken. Among these legends, the tale of Hercules' encounter with Cerberus was particularly enduring. It was a story of confrontation and courage, told and retold among the shades, sparking discussions of valor and resilience. Hercules, the brave hero, once ventured into the underworld with the daunting task of subduing Cerberus. This tale of heroism painted a vivid picture of mortal bravery meeting the divine duty of the guardian. It became a narrative of mutual respect, a dance between effort and purpose, leaving a legacy etched in the annals of both mortal and immortal memory. As legends continued to intertwine with the very essence of the underworld, they wove a tapestry that reflected on how these myths became part of the eternal landscape. Each whisper in the stillness spoke of the giant with 3 heads who stood guard, the rhythms of myth blending seamlessly with the reality of the underworld's silence. Cerberus's duty was alive in songs, sung in the whispers of souls drifting past, each note a testament to his enduring presence and the legacy sealed with every soul's passage. The spirits, both living and dead, found meaning in the portrayal of Cerberus across realms. Among mortals, he was at times revered, other times feared, but always respected. His story served as a bridge between the worlds, an eternal reminder of the balance maintained by forces both seen and unseen. Among the inhabitants of the underworld, these stories reflected not only on the guardian, but on the history of their journey from life to what lay beyond. Yet, amid these stories, Cerberus engaged in his own reflections. The triple perspective granted by his 3 heads allowed for deep contemplation on how these legends shaped his world. He stood unaware of how he had become an integral part of the wider mythology that spiraled out from the depths of the underworld. Each story brought a fresh understanding of his role, grounding his existence more firmly in purpose and identity as he upheld the sacred charge given to him from time immemorial. As the tales grew, their cycle became part of the ongoing dance of life and legacy. Myths entwined with duty, each feeding into the other, perpetuating a lattice of stories that spoke of the eternal roles played at the gates of the eternal stillness. In these tales, Cerberus found a testament to the enduring nature of his vigilance, an acknowledgement that spanned eternities and transcended the boundaries of mortal comprehension. And thus, in these moments of quiet contemplation between the legends that carried his name, Cerberus stood, a guardian at peace with the flow of stories that swirled around him. The legends wrapped him in a cocoon of history and honor, a tribute to the continuity of the universe's balance. As the mists whispered around him, Cerberus understood that within the legacy of tales lay the heart of an immortal duty, ever watchful and ever woven into the silent music of the underworld. In the stillness of the underworld, Cerberus stood as a lone sentinel, ever watchful at the gates that marked the threshold between the living and the dead. His role, as ancient as the myths themselves, was not just one of physical presence, but of eternal duty, guarding the balance between worlds. The stories told among both mortals and immortals enriched the ancient mists, celebrating his unwavering vigilance and the line he guarded with steadfast loyalty. With each passing spirit, Cerberus reaffirmed his connection to this sacred post, an immortal duty unbroken by time or legend. The quiet of the underworld echoed around him, a symphony of silence that sang of everlasting peace. In this realm of shadows, the march of spirits proceeded in an eternal cycle, a testament to the order that Cerberus maintained. That peaceful stillness was both his companion and the essence of his duty. As the three heads of Cerberus stood alert, their shared gaze swept over the landscape with a serene vigilance, reflecting an unyielding commitment to the task bestowed upon him by his formidable progenitors, Echidna and Typhon. Though Hades made rare appearances at the gates, his regal acknowledgement of Cerberus was a silent testament to their enduring bond. The Lord of the Underworld, reserved and shadowy, understood the importance of his guardian's presence, a mutual recognition that transcended words. As Hades walked the paths of his domain, the subtle nod exchanged between ruler and guardian was a simple yet profound dialogue acknowledging that their roles were woven into the very fabric of the Underworld's existence. With unerring focus, Cerberus watched over the indeterminate balance between life and death. Each soul that passed through, each shadow that lingered, served as a reminder of the delicate equilibrium that must be preserved. It was a duty that transcended the mortal coil and echoed throughout the realms, ensuring that the boundaries of life and mortality remained undisturbed. It was a solemn task, yet one that Cerberus embraced with majestic resolve, a guardian set to bridge mortal struggles and divine decrees. Generations came and went, but Cerberus's purpose remained unwavering, a testament to the cyclical nature of existence. In his role, he found a timeless continuity that held steady regardless of ebbs and flows in the mortal realm. His presence at the gates became a beacon of peace, a symbol not of dread but of balance and continuity. Each breath of the underworld expanded outward, a gentle reminder of the tenacity of his lineage and the myth that surrounded it. The broader view of the underworld's quiet expanse lay before Cerberus, an endless testimony to the tranquility he maintained. Through countless ages, the stories of his encounters and duties became etched into the lore, shared among gods and men alike, shaping the worldviews of those who ventured to understand the mysteries beyond mortality's veil. In quiet contemplation, Cerberus stood grounded between these realms, a pillar of fidelity sculpted against the twilight of the eternal night. As dusk faded seamlessly into night, the soft hues of deep amber and gentle orange washed over the vast gates. Cerberus remained a vigilant figure against the expansive night, the embodiment of peace and continuity. The serenity that enveloped the stoic guardian bespoke an eternal balance sealed by his presence. Despite the flow of myths and the change of ages, Cerberus's duty remained unwavering, an unbroken oath to stand at his post so long as the underworld endured. Through the unfolding legend of Cerberus, echoed across the corridors of time, the tales told by both mortals and immortals alike captured his essence. But beneath these narratives lay a deeper truth, the unwavering duty that defined him, a celestial anchor amidst the timeless dance of shadow and light. And so, Cerberus continued to watch over the gates, an unyielding guardian of the somber, serene order that defined the very essence of the underworld.